Hi. Can I ask you something? Has anyone ever told you you're so strong? Maybe they've said, I don't know how you do it. You always have it together. You're the person that everyone can count on. And every time they say it, you smile, you thank them. Maybe a part of you feels proud, but another part of you, if you're really honest, feels tired, like really tired. Because what most people don't realize is being called the strong one often comes with this invisible cost. And today I want to unpack that cost because strength is like such a beautiful thing. And many women aren't actually living from that strength. They're living from survival. And those two things can look almost identical on the outside. So let's define what we're talking about. When I say the strong one, I'm not talking about confidence. I'm not talking about resilience. I'm talking about women who feel responsible for everyone. The woman who is the one who remembers everyone's birthday, checks in on everyone, listens to everyone's problems, keeps the peace, holds the family together, makes sure everyone else is okay. And somewhere along that way, she stopped asking herself one very important question. What do I need? Because she has needs. And she became so focused on everyone else's needs that her own slowly just faded away into the background. So here's what I find fascinating, okay? Very few little girls wake up one morning and just decide, I want to become the woman who is holding everyone's energy. Something teaches her that. Sometimes it's growing up in a home where she became emotionally responsible way too young. Maybe she was that peacekeeper. Maybe she became the parent to her siblings. Maybe she learned that if she stayed quiet, stayed helpful, and didn't create problems, life felt safer. Sometimes it wasn't dramatic. Sometimes it was subtle. Sometimes she was praised for being so mature, so easy, so independent. And then without realizing it, she learned something so powerful. My value comes from being useful, not from just simply being myself, from being useful. Think about that for a second, okay? If your nervous system learns that love comes through usefulness, what happens when you need help? What happens when you're struggling? What happens when you're the one who needs someone else to hold your energy? For many women, it feels uncomfortable, maybe unsafe, and they deserve all the support, but receiving feels so unfamiliar. And this is where it gets like so fascinating to me. The little girl who learned to carry everything often grows into the woman who over-explains, over-function, over-gives, feels guilty for resting, feels uncomfortable receiving compliments, says that she's fine when she's actually falling apart, solves problems nobody asked her to solve, feels responsible for other people's emotions, and attracts people who love being cared for but don't know how to care for her. And after years of doing this, she wonders why she's exhausted, why she's burnt out. And she's not weak. Oh my God. If you're watching this and this is you, you are not weak. You've been carrying the emotional weight that was never yours to carry to begin with. So, this is where many women get stuck. They mistake over functioning for love. They believe if I stop doing everything, people won't need me anymore. But being needed and being loved are not the same thing. Being needed and being loved are not the same thing. One is based on what you do, the other is based on who you are. And I have spent so much of my time explaining this to women who come across. And if you've spent your whole life learning love through what you do, learning to simply receive love can feel terrifying. So every survival strategy has a cost, right? The cost isn't just the exhaustion. It's the resentment, it's the loneliness, it's sitting in a room full of people who love you and secretly wishing someone would notice you're struggling without having to say a damn word. It's feeling guilty every time you rest. It's believing you have to earn your place. It's believing your worth is tied to your usefulness. And that's such a heavy way to live. Such a heavy way to live. Most people will tell you to stop people pleasing, set boundaries, say no more. And yes, those things matter. But you know what I think is actually happening? You don't stop overgiving by forcing yourself to say no. You don't stop overgiving when you no longer believe your worth depends on how much you carry for people. That is a completely different conversation because now we're not changing behavior, we're changing the identity. So, where do you begin? Not by trying to become less caring. Your compassion isn't the problem. Your generosity isn't the problem. The problem is believing your value only exists when you are giving, even overgiving. So this week, I want you to notice something in yourself. Every time someone offers to help you, I want you to pause before you answer. Notice what happens in your body. Do you immediately say, no, 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 I got it, don't worry? Do you feel guilty accepting help? Do you feel like you're inconveniencing someone? Don't judge it, just notice it. Just be there and observe it. Because awareness without judgment is where that change begins. Then ask yourself, if I truly believed I was worthy of being supported, how would I respond right now? That single question can begin to shift years of programming. So if you've spent years being the strong one, I want to leave you with this. Being capable is a gift. Being resilient is a gift. Being dependable is a gift. But none of those gifts require you to fade away. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to receive. And maybe the strongest thing that you will ever do is let someone love you without feeling like you have to earn it first. Because you were never meant to carry the whole world. You weren't. You're not Hercules. You were only ever meant to carry yourself with compassion. I want you to remember that word compassion. And maybe that is what real strength has looked like all along.